What's up, metal and heavy music fans? It's Flight of Icarus again with MetalTrenches.com, and today we have a review of Altarage and their new album Succumb via Season of Mist. And hey, if you like to be kept up to date with the best and brightest metal bands and albums from the underground and above, then stick with me by hitting that subscribe button down below. Altarage is a blackened technical death metal band based out of Spain that is highly recommended for fans of Portal, Abyssal, and Malthusian. My listening of this band goes back to their very first album Nihil in 2016, which found them hitting the ground running with a stunningly atmospheric approach to the genre. This was followed by their Season of Mist premiere Endinghent in 2017 and 2019's The Approaching Roar, both continuing their inevitable domination of the underground. Succumb is now their longest effort to date at just over an hour in runtime, and once more I was salivating at the prospect of digging into more dismal odes to existential dread. Lead single Magno Evento easily met my expectations right from the get-go, delivering further rabid and rampant sounding guitars and drums like Lovecraftian monsters biting at the heels. Much like Portal, many of these riffs sound more like a whirling hurricane of claws and teeth. I suppose Deathspell Omega is another fair reference point. And I also love how it so abruptly cuts to just the menacing guitar about halfway through, only to kick up with the machine gun blasts again. Get used to these jarring transitions. This is an album that always keeps you on edge. Tracks will at times seem to cut off and start up so abruptly as to leave you wondering if it's an editing mistake. And I know multiple times on my first listen, I kind of turned my head really quickly and was like, wait, what? What? What the Like, they're literally like little sonic jump scares. I can think of specific moments even on like my third listen where it would happen, and I'd feel my startle reaction actually go into effect with little like pins and needles and kind of rising anxiety. It feels like they're playing a trick on the subconscious, kind of like a Kubrickian thing. Like how in The Shining, he kind of messed with how spatial relationships work within the hotel, and even though you may not notice it consciously, your subconscious definitely picks up on something is off. This is made apparent from the very beginning of the album with Negative Arrival, which just gives you absolutely zero preparation. No intro, no atmospheric buildup, just a wall of distortion, blasts, and absolutely inhuman snarls. It's like having hot ash kicked into your eyes and swinging blindly as you are struck and stabbed from all directions. Drainage Mechanism is another track that stood out to me instantly with its unpredictably contorting guitars. Appropriate to the title, it sounds like some sort of mechanical torture device struggling to process the meat, bone, and viscera clogging up its gears. It just keeps trying to turn over and it's just All of this, of course, complemented by the morbid howls of toothless, tongueless anguish. Seriously, any movie or video game out there that needs some monster sounds, Altarage has you covered. And as if to mock the listener directly, Lavath is even set up prior with a menacing interlude called Fair Warning, before plunging us once more into the welcoming embrace of spinning razor blades. Now there are some kind of quote-unquote slower moments, as with Forja, Maneuver, and Watch Your Witness, which sound like lumbering kaijus just laying waste to a burning cityscape. We're not talking like fun Godzilla vs. Kong here either. This album is just utterly apocalyptic. I listen to this, I go numb, and I get these vivid visions of sinkholes devouring entire city blocks, jagged cracks spewing magma, skyscrapers collapsing into nothing, and thick pillars of suffocating black smoke blotting out the sun. These doomy, quieter parts also really showcase the infinite reverb of these pounding drums. And I can't emphasize that enough. The drums sound fantastic when you have a moment to truly pay attention and pay tribute to them. And I didn't think that Altarage's vocals could get any more horrific than they have on past releases, but especially on like Foregone, they most certainly prove that to be false with a unique approach that I can't even begin to put into words. There's like a little bit more like gurgle to it, but not like a brutal death vocal. You just have to hear it. And that's not to mention the godfleshy industrial sound of some of the percussion on this track. It's almost 8 minutes of pure punishment with another great sudden eruption of guitars like scraping tectonic plates at the 450 mark. Now all of this would have been more than enough to take in already, but still seemingly unsatisfied that they have broken every lingering wisp of spirit left in you. Altarage closed the album with a 21-minute Death Doom song to end all Death Doom songs, Devorador de Mundos, or Devourer of Worlds. Suffice it to say, this is an absolute chasm of despair that quite literally seems to suck all of existence into its gaping maw. Lots of elements here that call on the same rulebook as Abyssal, and if you don't know who that is, you're going to want to check them out as well. But Quest for Metal, I think they wrote this track especially for you, you sick fuck. Now, all of that said, is this a perfect album? Not exactly. I was skeptical of the runtime from the beginning, and for its particular approach, it definitely starts to feel its length. Certain moments can start to feel repetitious after a while, though I will say repeat listens have made this less and less of an issue as all of these subtle variations sink in. And this is more of a personal choice than any real criticism, but honestly, I could do without the big closer altogether. I know plenty of people are going to love it. Me personally, I think it's a more concise statement without it or trimming it down a bit. Overall, I prefer the brevity of their previous outings, which ran only from like 36 to 43 minutes. Even so, this is a minor criticism of an album that in the end is still probably the most cataclysmic I've heard so far in 2021. And that's in a year of albums all written with such themes weighing heavily on songwriters' minds. Turning to my scales, I give Succumb a 9 for enjoyability. Again, another case where enjoy may not be the best word, but I really do have a good time with this record. For the most part, I'm very engaged. It's just I took off 1 point because, again, it does start to have some moments where I kind of get pulled out of it because I'm looking at like how much time is left, and you never want that on your album. I give it a 9 for musicianship. I could almost give it a 10, honestly. Like, there is some really proficient work going on with the crazy guitar work and the drumming, again, in particular. Just those machine gun blasts and then the crazy contortions of the guitar that just seem almost random, but there's like a certain control to it. Very powerful, impressive, heavy stuff. And I give it an 8 for innovation. I would say that this is kind of a step forward for the band in terms of experimentation and trying a few new things with the vocals, with the songwriting, especially with that closing track. That is something new for them. So yeah, gotta give them extra props for that as well. So an 8.7 overall and a B+ for Altarage and Succumb. Get it once more via Season of Mist. Y'all, thanks as always for watching, and let me know down in the comments, what did you think of this album? What's your favorite Altarage album so far? And also, if you're new to the band, let me know that down there as well. Hit the like button, let's have a conversation. And then, hey, stick around, I got plenty more videos coming right after this one. More album reviews, interviews with bands on the podcast, tier lists, you name it, we've got it, so plenty of reasons to subscribe. If you have not already, you can also join us on Discord and support on Patreon. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.